Well, welcome, my friends. We are Jim, Katharina, and Antonio, and hello to you who are watching. We are the Divine Constellation, and today is my turn to lead, and I had prepared a topic to explore, which was Martin Luther King's concept of community, what he called the beloved community. And so I had been thinking about that throughout the week. But this morning, um, I was doing my lesson in A Course in Miracles, and I was just sitting in silence and kind of like surrendering, and something else came up, and I felt that it was right to lay aside my plans and just follow my heart. And the topic for today requires a bit of courage, and it's the idea that the person that feels the most difficult in our lives, the one that when we think of them, something kind of like closes, that person holds the key to our next step in our evolution, to our next level of consciousness, to that which we're really longing for, and we feel like we are almost there, but something is blocking it. Well, the key is inside of that person that we hold resentment against. And I want to read a little paragraph from this lesson. Actually, I'll do that later. Now I want to tell a story of when I realized this. And this is 3 years ago, I think. I was living in Boston. I had just moved with 3 friends. And this was a time of great spiritual opening. And I was really confused, in a lot of pain, processing a lot of things. And for me, it had to do mainly with my intimate relationships. I didn't know what I wanted. I knew that there was this very intense longing, but I wasn't clear. And so my mind was scattered, and I felt desire for everyone, no one. It was just bad. I was not happy with that. And I was on my own, and nothing seemed to work. And then my roommate, with whom I just moved, I didn't know this before, but when we moved together, I saw that he was a total womanizer. Like a movie character. Like you've never seen anything like that. It was amazing. Like every week, 2 or 3 girls would show up by our house. I was like, he was a really charismatic guy, very, and many of these girls were the ones that I also felt attraction for, and it was extremely painful to be undergoing this period of my heart kind of like cracking open and processing all these wounds of abandonment, of rejection, and all of that. And simultaneously, in the room next door, my friend spending the night with girls that I found very attractive. So that was difficult. That was really difficult. And so a lot of resentment started to build up. Not only because of that, all other things happened in the house. It was a mess, that apartment. And all my resentment, all my suffering was projected onto him. He became this symbol of why I was suffering so much at that moment. But I was stuck with him. I had a lease for a year, and that was just 2 months in. So for months we stopped talking. It was just bad, bad living situation. And meanwhile I was still healing, and that's when I started doing the course, and the course is about forgiveness. So at a certain moment it dawned on me, like, I'm not gonna find, first of all, I'm not gonna be able to change this person. It doesn't even make sense to try. That's the first rule. If you want to lose peace, try to change someone else. So I started to realize that what had to change was within me if I wanted to find peace. The other option was just to continue in hell. And so I started to pray for guidance with that, like how, what do I have to do? And one day I realized that I had to forgive him. Only that way that was the only way in which I could find peace and not care at all about what he did or didn't do. Like, I was at peace with myself, and I didn't want to give him power anymore. And so I remember sitting at my altar, and all this anger and resentment and all like boiling inside of me. And I just sat and I said, Please guide me to the other side of this. I cannot live with this. This is burning me alone. It's also affecting him, but primarily me. So please help me with this. Help me to see him with love. And so I remember sitting down with that, and all those emotions appeared kind of like clouds, and I started to go through them. And it was really uncomfortable, really painful, but I knew, like, it was in my heart, what the decision was made to go through that. And so I was going through it and experiencing all of it and all the resistance. And then something beautiful happened, and it's that a few months before, I had met his mom via Zoom, and I just had like 2-minute conversation with her. And in this moment, her mom appeared, and I kind of like inhabited his mom, and I saw him through his mom's eyes. For just one instant, I held him as if he was my son. And suddenly, yes, he was still a mess. But it didn't matter, there was no judgment. I was just holding him in love. Like, I see that you're suffering too, and you're really lost. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't love you. And it was just an instant of pure motherly love for him. After that, my relationship with him changed magically, I mean, miraculously. We hadn't been talking for a few months, and now he started talking with me again out of nowhere. Nothing explicit had been done, but I think that changed in my heart. I was rejecting him, and we can sense that unconsciously. Now that I wasn't rejecting him, he opened up to me again. And not only that, not only did I find peace finally in that house until the end of the lease, but also I was judging him for his relationship with women. And when I forgave him, my relationship with women started to heal too, in a very profound way. And that opened up my path towards what I really longed for, which was a true relationship, to start a family. And now that it's becoming a reality, today I was thinking about this, like, wow, how grateful I must be for this person who showed me the wounds that I was carrying. He just became a symbol of those wounds. And of course, I didn't want to look there. So for the time that I didn't want to look, I was pushing. But when I finally surrendered to the teaching that this person was bringing into my life, I saw that he was not my friend. He was not my enemy. He was my savior. He was the spirit coming into my life to help me let go of something that unblocked the beautiful path that I'm enjoying now in my relationship. So this is probably the cross of our relationships, right? This is the ugly part. This is the thing that we have to lift up out of pure courage and commitment to love. And it's so difficult to understand this on our own until you experience it, that I feel like it has tremendous value to bring it up and to talk about it and to expose this mechanism of nature. This is how nature heals our minds and our hearts, bringing us that which triggers the wound. And it's really pure grace that does that, if we are willing to collaborate, of course.
Willing to collaborate is an important part, isn't it? It's that non-willingness to that person is the problem, when actually that person is there to help you find the solution, isn't it?
Yeah, and the problem is that they don't know that. So we get caught up in this narrative, like, no, he's just a person who's very lost and is very uncomfortable for me. But his life, despite, like, his ego doesn't know anything, just as yours, but the spirit brought us together into an apartment for a year. There was some karmic stuff going on there beyond our limited understanding, but it was, I mean, now I see it. How it has opened up my heart.
Yeah, and for you to have that, reward of to meet that person that you would like to, spend the rest of your life with, hopefully, or have children and all these things. There has to, I've had one of those really recently as well, where it's not that there's a cost, but in Buddhism calls it what's it in English? Expedient means. It's an expedient means, which is it doesn't even matter about the person or their personality or what they look like or anything. That it's just that a tool has been placed in front of you so that you can get to where you want to go. But of course we get stuck in they look like this and they talk like that and they're really annoying and they're lazy and they leave their clothes all over the floor and they never clean the kitchen, and we get stuck in all those things. Yeah, and is always bringing women back when actually it's our work is to distance ourselves and go, right, actually this is an opportunity where something great happens for me at the end of it.
It's a beautiful story, and I love to talk about these things and about the things we don't want to see, the shadows. And what it reminded me of I was thinking that you also healed a part within yourself, that maybe, because I feel like many things we encounter in other people, especially the ones that trigger us, they have something to do with us. And maybe there's a part in us as well that would love to live that out, but it doesn't. And I was just thinking about the relationship with my father, which is much more complex than that. But there's a female friend that I've had for a couple of years now, and she showed me as well, and I just thought about how different it was. It wasn't really an intense or in the moment triggering of something, but it was more a quiet, subtle, constantly going over my boundaries in a very close relationship. And this is something that I uncovered in a big way, or that shifted in a big way for me at the beginning of this year, where I realized that there was a resentment building up, but I was tolerating it because I was used to tolerating this kind of behavior from someone very close to me that was supposed to, or that loved me. So I would always kind of subconsciously justify the behavior. And that taught me how I let other people use my kindness and my open heart and my open space to listen and to be empathic, which is one of my greatest gifts, to their to their advantage, but not really giving something back. And there was not really, so it was always an imbalance in the relationship, but I tolerated it for a very, very long time. And then I spoke to it, and she was able to listen to it and to take it in. And ever since, we're still in contact, but I feel like but only because I know that she's also, like, she's receiving it now and she's seeing her patterns as well. So she's in her own process of looking at herself. So it's very interesting that now there's kind of like no impulse to get into really close contact, because I was just saying to her the other day, she was saying she doesn't feel me anymore, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel you anymore either, but I know it's right, and I trust in that this development is true, because I feel like if we would now just go back together, we would kind of connect in the same spaces, in the patterns that didn't serve me, and also ultimately not her. And so there has to, if that's going to happen, it might not happen, but if there's going to be a new way of connecting, it needs time to build. And right now it doesn't feel like there's something alive yet, but I'm in a deep trust and that it will work out the way it wants to work out. But I know that for me it's very, very healing, and it's rippling out in all different areas. I feel like it's now changing a lot in my relationship dynamics, which I don't have at the moment, but just energetically so much changing. and the frequencies I give out and I receive, and also in the way I work. It's been a pattern in all my relationships, and I feel like that's it's very fascinating. Yeah.
Like this person doesn't know that she might know now that you talked about it, but life brought her to you to show you this vulnerability.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because these things she could only affect you in that way because you were holding that vulnerability in your own mind. And by triggering it, you saw it, you say, no more. And now the relationship has done its karmic debt is kind of like closed, and now you go each in a different direction. And that brought me an image that I heard recently that I found really, really nice for this, which is spiritual awakening is kind of like, or start to wake up to the fact that you have a mind and that it carries all this stuff that you can let go of and you can heal and you can put order in. It's kind of like waking up and suddenly realizing that you live in a beach and this beach is yours, but it's a mess. It's full of garbage everywhere. So people come and they throw their own garbage, and since everything is covered in garbage, you don't really care if they do that. Like, what difference does it make? But then you start to realize that this is your home, this is where you're at, and you might as well just clean everything. So you start to do that, and you spend 6 months, just 8 hours a day, just like putting the things in trash bags and all of that, and it starts to look cleaner and cleaner. And now the people who were coming before to throw out their garbage, it's suddenly not acceptable anymore because that area is clean already, and I don't want that Coke can over there. So you tell them, and they don't come back to that beach because they cannot throw their garbage in there. But now it's clean, and people who are respecting that start to show up also.
Yeah.
But it was your garbage, the one that was allowing and inviting these people to come in the first place.
Yeah, that's a really nice image, isn't it? And we do get stuck in labeling people like the kind of current trend of narcissists and narcissism, and everyone's a narcissist, and you're a narcissist because of this, and you're a narcissist because of that, but actually that everyone has that aspect in themselves, don't they? Everyone has the capacity for narcissism. But what's really happening, if you kind of look underneath, is that person's behavior is telling you something about your behavior, which is what you're saying, isn't it? And so in a way we need that. It's painful and awful, and to a degree, we don't need abusive situations at all. But life comes along and just kind of shows us and says, hold on, I'm just going to put this person in front of you, take care of yourself, but there's something here for you. There's an area of growth. There's some growing required in you, so that I can, life can then give you some more interesting things. But I need you to grow so that you're able to, so that you're prepared or able to receive what life has in store for you. And human beings are quite lazy and sometimes need a kind of, come on, we love getting comfortable and kind of talking to ourselves, and often the voice inside our head starts to get lower and lower in quality until we're kind of talking to ourselves in a terrible way, and then life goes, no, hold on, stop, let me put this person in front of you so that you A, get over your own thing, and B, use that person as a wall to climb over so that you can carry on.
It reminded me of this image of Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel, that you see God kind of like reaching out towards man, kind of like really intense, like his finger is just really trying to get out of even heaven to touch him. And the hand of, I think it's Adam, it's kind of like this. It's like, yeah, I'm reaching out towards you, God, but not really. Yeah. Not really. I don't want to make that effort. It's so good.
Yeah, we'd only do it if when it's painful. Like when there's something we hit, like hitting a wall. And I mean, many of my becoming more awake and aware experiences were massive hits against the wall. and it gets better, and I'm very relieved and glad that I have a learning curve, and that now I'm much more curious. And of course, when you're aware of these things, when you're aware of the mind and the body and things being stored in the body as well, you said before, Antonio, that the things in the mind, but I also feel like there's a lot of things stored in the body that keep us in our patterns. And of course, they serve a purpose, and they did serve a purpose before. I talked to a friend a couple of days ago, and she's also a somatic practitioner like myself. And she was saying how beautiful it was. Like, we were both telling each other our journeys with that and how we became somatic practitioners, what brought us into the body and working with the body. And she shared that one of the most valuable things she learned out of that was looking at herself with much more love, and even the patterns that now seem destructive and self-sabotaging once served a purpose, and they were protecting us, and they were like, our body, our whole system is so smart, and but now it's no longer protecting us from the bad, but actually from the good. And to just acknowledge that for what it was and for what it did, and then gently opening that and working with that instead of against it. And that's also what I love about, this development of just seeing where things are now and then being more curious about it. Not like, oh my God, but and I have to, I'm sure there's going to be tiny walls here and there maybe, because some things are much harder to see for us. But just being much more curious about it, and now actually liking when I find something in myself, like, oh yeah, right. I have more similarities with my dad than I would like to, like, for example,
exactly.
resenting him, but there's so much of me in him that, of course, I don't want to see myself, but in him I can point it out. So that's also one of the purposes I feel that other people serve, because we don't see it in ourselves, but in others we can point the finger like in a second. But to make that connection is another story of how long that takes, or if we even ever get to that place.
Yeah, and they say the family karma is the most difficult because that person wants you to carry on being the way you are, so that they can be the way they are. You know, just and vice versa. There's a really nice story of a bodhisattva. I don't remember the name, in Buddhism, who would go from town to town teaching the wisdom of the Buddha, and people would very specifically attack this person, and they would throw sticks and stones. I think it was a she, so they would throw sticks and stones at her, and instead of running away or attacking back or throwing sticks and stones as well, she would just step out of the way so that the sticks and stones didn't land on didn't actually hit her, and wait for the people to calm down, and then step forward again and try and expound the Buddha's teachings until eventually she was actually able to communicate with the person. It's really nice, because our tendency is to push something away. This person is really difficult, or you're a narcissist, or oh God, it's my dad. Yeah, I've got, like me personally, I have the dad one in a big way, in all kinds of really interesting ways as well. And it's so easy to go, oh, God, it's not me, it's you. It's like, no, hold on a minute. You're providing my behavior the opportunity for, there's movement here. Yeah.
There's an identity that you've been defending. And this person is showing it.
Yeah.
I remember that. I think that was it with the friend that I talked about at the beginning. I was holding the identity of deprivation and not deserving a beautiful relationship. And he showed that to me. And so that's who was angry at him. That was the one that was resentful.
Yeah.
And when I forgave him, that identity went away, and then I opened up to as you said, Jim, what life want to bring my way. That was good. Or what you said, Katharina, like protecting yourself from the bad, but now you're protecting yourself from the good. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
It was an identity that I was holding. I was saying, no, I do not deserve love.
Yeah. But also, it's not just people, it's situations. Like yesterday, like I was just telling you before, Antonio, I was in Berlin and went to the airport to come back to Madrid, and the airport was closed because there was a strike. And I arrived at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then had to go through this enormous disaster of finding a train to Munich. The train took 4 hours. I had a very short time window to then buy another plane ticket. It cost me a fortune. Get to the plane. I couldn't check in, worrying make sure I could check in because, with airlines, they overbook flights.
Yeah.
So, if you don't check in, sometimes you don't get on the plane. So I'm on this train going somewhere that I've never been before, trying to find an airport I've never been to, hoping that I can check in to get on a plane that I may not even be able to get onto. Traveling and ended up taking kind of 10 hours of traveling that should have normally taken so much less. But very early on in the mess, I stopped, and there was okay, so there's something in this for me. What is there in this for me? And all kinds of very interesting things, just about reworking of the work I do, and it was worth it. And yeah, I lost money and I lost time and it was exhausting and all these things. But what I gained, if I look at it, what I gained was so much more long term in comparison to the short term pain.
That's amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, you really collaborated with life in that situation.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful
It reminds
topic.
me now of the microphone, Katharina, where you were talking about at the beginning. Like, it has something for you.
It
There
does.
you have it.
Yeah. Actually, it was just for the ones listening. We had a moment before where my microphone was too far away, and I've been having some technical things. Is the light okay and everything? And we were saying that it has something to do. I'm even touching. This was intuitive, and I was taking it away. I'm touching my throat chakra,
amazing.
of course. I'm just going to leave it there. It's about being heard, and yeah, I was too quiet because the microphone was very far away. But also, I tend to get very quiet with my voice when I get insecure. So just recently, I feel like I'm getting much closer to my truth in some ways, and when that feels new and vulnerable, I get very quiet, and I have these subconscious tendencies not to be heard and seen. So yeah, that's also a self-sabotaging mechanism. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up again. Yeah, it's a very good one and a very common one. Yeah.
And it was amazing that you did this immediately, and
I was going to take it away, and I was like, no, this is communicating now. Yeah, my body is telling something.
Yeah, they're really, everything is telling you everything all the time, but we're just kind of stuck in our head, running around, thinking, doing all these things, being distracted. And it's amazing how you just went like that instantly. It's like, wow, yeah, okay, oh right. So even my body is telling me what needs,
where it is,
but also what needs. How do I put it? What needs practicing? Where because we don't just fix my throat chakra, then I can talk perfectly and I'm not worried about my voice anymore. No, it's a continuous practice, just like with people, because you'll have more of those people, Antonio. I'll have more of those situations and more of those people. So will Katharina, so will everyone. Continue, and it's like, right, there will be those people again, exactly the same situation, and you'll deal with it in a different way, and you've jumped that wall already, so it's fine. But then someone else will come and hit that trigger that needs to be kind of worked with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very,
and I just saw
very interesting. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I just saw actually a very interesting connection that I hadn't made before between my voice being heard and myself being heard. And this is also kind of like a choking, like it's not just touching it, but it's actually something like there is no movement allowed or constriction of movement. And also this tendency that I told you before, this relational tendency to just give other people space and take myself back. And this relates to like, for me, it feels vulnerable or maybe even dangerous to be heard and to speak and to speak into the room that is there between us, because this is also a relationship, the three of us. Me being heard when I'm vulnerable, instead of me just listening to you guys, for example, and giving space instead of giving myself and my voice, and what matters to me, my heart, giving that a voice and space. Yeah.
Communication, the element of water, being able to allowing movement to come through you. Just going back to the beginning, this idea of resentment, how you resented this guy Antonio, and then you went looking for forgiveness, but actually it's more than forgiveness. The resentment took you kind of through forgiveness, past forgiveness, onto kind of acceptance, and then further than acceptance onto contribution, onto kind of personally growing, and therefore being able to contribute in a different way. It's like you almost want to go back and just shake his hand and go, thank you.
I've thanked him so many times in my prayers, and it's like, I see it. I understand. It was extremely painful, but I understand, and I'm so grateful for that. And I hope you're better. And I know also that this has an impact when we forgive someone. And the definition of forgiveness in the Course is not so much the moral thing, but it's that whole journey from resentment to the miracle that transforms everyone in the situation and opens up these new pathways of more love and I know that it had an impact on him too. So every time we do this, every time we forgive someone, since our minds are not separate, well, we were talking earlier in the family relationships, right? How your father has an idea of who you are, and you have an idea of who your father is, and you are both entangled in that. When you forgive your father for doing that, not only have you freed yourself from the expectation that he might have of you, but you've also freed him, and it's kind of like it's a clean slate for everyone.
What I just I had the image of spaciousness, of space opening up to that's also what you described. Your heart was opening up to him, and he could feel it, so he could feel that he was accepted again, or like that he could open up to you, also opening up. So it's space, like a widening of space and incorporating something that we resented before, that we pushed away before, into the whole again. So basically acknowledging that this is also part of us in a way, and of life, and then making it whole in a way, or like integrating the parts. That's what it is.
And if you'd like, I'd like to offer an exercise in this, which is what I was practicing this morning in the Course. And it's in the body. That's what I like about it. It's not just kind of like a moral, intellectual thing. You go down into the body and feel how it feels, and allow that opening. And I'd like to read a paragraph from this section, which is amazing. We will select one person you have used as a target for your grievances, and lay the grievances aside and look at him. Someone perhaps you fear or even hate. Someone you think you love who angers you. Someone you call a friend, but whom you see as difficult at times, or hard to please, demanding, irritating, or untrue to the ideal he should accept as he is according to the role you set for him. You know the one to choose. His name has crossed your mind already.
Mm.
So with this, I invite you to close your eyes and hold this person in your imagination as if they were standing in front of you. And feel how it feels to be in front of them. Look at your body, if anything constricts, if anything reacts. There's a reaction to this person, that's why they're there. And now I want you to imagine a light, like a little star that starts shining at the center of their chest. And this is the light of innocence, which is in every one of us. This is the Buddha nature, this is Christ, the inner child. And our resentment, our ideas, our irritation, our anger has been hiding this. But it is there, we know it. And this star starts to shine brighter and it fills their chest, and everything that this light touches relaxes. So we're healing this person. And the knots in their chest relax and open. And the light flows down also through their arms to become more relaxed and luminous. It goes down now through the solar plexus to their abdomen. And you can see their bodies being filled with light, healing, restoring in the deepest sense, like beyond the original sin. Like this is going back to the original innocence. And the light flows down their legs, and then to the toes, and then up the neck, and it fills their head too. And their whole body is filled with light, and they know it, they can feel it. And this light starts to transform them, and they smile. They smile, having recognized their innocence. You're giving them this gift. And this smile is the Buddha smile. It's like the purest. The past is gone. This is who this person is now, without past. And they're so grateful. And if any resistance comes to seeing them in this way, that's what the exercise is about. It's about us recognizing the blockages, to recognizing the light in the other. And so we relax ourselves into that. And then this person in front of us that is so radiant now, is like Krishna standing in front of us, takes this light in their chest and they carry it towards you like a star in the palm of their hands that they bring to you, and now they put in your chest as a gift in return. And now the light, the star, is in your chest, in your heart. And they are the ones who handed it to you. And this light now starts to expand in your own chest. And it melts any resistance, any knot, any blockage. And it flows down the arms, connecting your heart with your hands, which are the organs of expression of the heart. And the light flows down through your torso, through your solar plexus, to your abdomen, down to your pelvic area, down through your legs, down to the feet, and now up through the neck, filling your head with light. And now this innocence is you. This light is the real you. You now, without past, without resentments. And the other person in front of you is the same light. You are me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to share anything, or should we leave it here? I think maybe leave it here. Maybe we can talk about it afterwards. But
Yeah, or maybe
what...
anyone who's just sat there and did that with us could leave a comment of how it felt for them.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you if you did it.
Thank
for
you
bringing
so
that
much.
light into the world.
Amazing.
That rippled throughout all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's leave it here then. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing.